Hey, my beautiful, wonderful people, a pleasant morning to you. So, wonderful people, in fairly recent time, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I glimpsed over to the CVM television and I started listening to a daughter of a recently deceased 72-year-old woman, and I couldn't listen to it in its entirety. So it was easier for me to read the article because there is a love and a respect that I have for the elderly. Even though the woman, you would not guess her to, based on her picture, to look that old. She still looked like somebody in her 50s. You know what I mean? Because nowadays, I mean, with technology, with advancement, with more knowledge and everything, you know, wisdom, you know, understanding, people know how to, you know, I mean, we have an aging population, that's 1, 2. We know how to take care of ourselves even better than before. And it says a 72-year-old woman was reportedly killed after criminals broke into her house, sexually assaulted her, the R word, that I realize people using the word grape. I hate when we're using good words now, you know, because you don't want to, you know, especially with TikTok. It is better to look for other appropriate words in the English language, you know, if you're speaking English, as opposed to just using a word that we associate with something good. You know, I don't like when they use grape for that R word. Say sexually molested, sexually harassed, or maybe sexually assaulted is a better word, because when you say sexual assault, we know what you're talking about, as opposed to molestation may not necessarily involve the real penile penetration. And robbed her. You know, she's a retired nurse that had left the United States to settle in Jamaica, where when she later became a target. Her daughter says her mother, Loris Murray, had a genuine love for Jamaica and its people and wanted to spend her retirement on the island doing everything she loved, including farming and raising chickens. I guess in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, when we as a people practice not holding people accountable for acts from youth, from a young stage, these are the things that will happen when we're older. These people who commit such heinous acts, such diabolical acts, are things that were not dealt with when they were younger. Even if you went through traumatic events, there are many people in this world that have been through traumatic experiences, and we have a way of saying not everyone deals with it, you know, the way you would deal with it, in a wholesome way, in an amicable way, and so on. But everybody, I would say, because of our humanness, we go through the gamut of our emotions. You know, some of us may not kill, steal, or destroy, but they go through emotional turmoil, emotional, upheaval in their own way. So don't make the assumption, because they don't necessarily go out and annihilate somebody, that they have not been through the emotional rigor, the emotional roller coaster. It is just that they use enough sensibility and or they were taught principles that would keep them from doing something that is immoral and doing something that is ultimately legal. We tend not to in this country hold people generally accountable for smaller acts, and what it does, it maximizes itself, and then it becomes like a full-blown, how you would, you know, when you talk about like full-blown AIDS that has transitioned from the HIV virus into this debilitating, damaging, deadly disease. And we do have a disease called lacking accountability, lacking reprimand, lacking discipline. These diseases, they're strangling the moral and legal fabric of our society. Because had we been like other countries, you know, they're not even, where the band name from Korea there, South or North Korea, the Jing song or whatever you want name. I don't want to call the man name wrong. I know I just did. A lot of these heinous acts would not happen. Now, many of them have gone unreported. Am I saying that other countries don't have these acts? They do. But you know what has happened? More often than not, in those countries, unless they really can't find them, they're held accountable. They're held accountable. And Jamaica is a smaller country. They often say you can't take Jamaica, lift up Jamaica and drop it in California and lost. It gets lost, sorry. It gets lost with nearly 3 million people, if not 3 million. With a near 3 million people, if not 3 million. And a lot of returning residents, you know, they're scouted out. I was speaking with somebody who tells me, especially in the Manchester side there, where, you know, you have a lot of these huge houses, and the returning residents, they come back. Oh my goodness gracious. It's like they come back to go to hell. After they've worked so hard in foreign lands, coming back to say, let me just retire in fine style. They retire in hell, in Hades. Because this country lacks discipline, it lacks accountability. From the child is at a tender age. And what you see adults are today is who they were when they were younger. They may not have committed those acts because of the age disparity where they were. When you're 5, you're not going to think necessarily how you're thinking now at 25, 30, 40, 50, as the case may be. And many times when people will say to some of them, your child is going off tangent. He or she seems, especially he, seems socially unfit. What with the lad, God, leave that picnic, them soon. Lad, left them, lad, left a picnic, yeah, lad. When I looked at that lady, I said, my goodness gracious, this woman, 72 years of age, she looks like somebody who has another, as I said, she looks in her 50s. I don't know if it's based on the photograph that I saw. That she has another 40, 50, can go up to 100. She can be a centenarian. And many of you, because of licky, nyame, beggy, picky, wicked, evil, you take her life that, well, I didn't know that you had given her it. But before you ravished the woman. You ravished the woman. Some of you may say it is deeds that they did when they were younger. Not necessarily. The Bible talks about the godly suffering persecution, or the righteous man falleth 7 times, but, well, I guess gets back. Things happen to, bad things happen to good people as well. That is why I don't buy into the story. If you see a very unusual crime or criminal act, the people said, what them did involve? Not necessarily, you know, people. The country, the moral fabric of our country is torn. It's basically shredded. No one is held accountable. And it depends on who commits certain acts. When you look in the prison systems, for example, or the jail system, just check the echelon, the social status of many of them who are there. And you're going to say, maybe because people from the inner city, they don't know how to raise children, they don't know how to have certain upbringing because they're not educated, they're not exposed. Be that as it may, there are people who are educated and exposed. Let me tell you, the ones in the inner city may do a better job than many of them. But the country is so classist and prejudiced and discriminatory and biased that you're not going to see certain people in these jail and prison systems here. It goes without saying. The man from Upper St. Andrew, you're not going to really see them. You know, they're scattered, and it depends on who it is. If you even see them, and it's only for a time, and then they're let out. And some of them have linkages with those in the lower. You know, the Bible talks about spiritual wickedness in high places. Though it's spiritual, a lot of these top people, they control the people down there. But I want to tell the perpetrators that you are going to be brought to justice, whether by mankind or God himself. Because you're not going to get away with this heinous act that you have committed, especially against an elderly. You need to read the Bible. It talks about be careful how you treat the elderly. There's a precious blessing that is upon them. And you try to take that. You flew in God's face. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You are going to be held accountable by God. if not man. Guys, you know what to do, read TikTok and YouTube, subscribe, and give me one of them lion I know. Please, thank you.